The biggest moments the WNBA has ever seen. Looking forward into the future, what would you like to see happen as you come to a negotiation?
Well, honestly, I don't think it's just a big moment for the WNBA. I think all of women's sports, I think this is one of the biggest moments we've ever had. So, I feel very confident that we're going to get something done, and that's because we're in this moment because of the product we put on the floor. So we need to be able to continue to do that, and I know everybody's working really hard. There's a meeting tomorrow that's super important, and I truly do believe we're going to get something done here in the next couple of weeks. But like you said, I mean, there's a lot of boxes that we still need to check. We've added two new teams. I mean, there's going to be more players than ever, and then we have to get into free agency, then have a normal draft as well. So there's a lot of things left to do, but I really do feel confident that both sides are going to reach a deal.
And I have the details of this collective bargaining agreement. These are landmark. It's a new salary cap that starts at $7 million. That's up from $1.5 million just last year. There will be an average revenue share among the owners, the league, and the players of nearly 20% across the lifetime of this deal. Supermax contracts starting at $1.4 million, escalating to $2 million and above. The average salary for WNBA players moving forward will be around $600,000. The minimum will be signed for above $300,000. Okay. This is according to my sources across the WNBA in the industry. And you think about where the league came from in 2003 when they had their first salary cap.
Welcome everybody to the Sports Culture, all things sports. It's Jay Bamfo, and we got to talk about the WNBA. But before we get into that, like, comment, share, subscribe, and thanks for your support. Now, for years, the conversation around the WNBA was always the same. The league loses money, the salaries are too low, and why do they have to play overseas? Well, those conversations are officially dead because if you haven't heard by now, the WNBA just signed a historic collective bargaining agreement that raises the average WNBA salary to $300,000 and will have the league's first $1 million contracts. Now, there are many reasons why they were able to obtain this new contract, but the main reason why, and I don't think what I'm about to say is controversial, but the league and WNBA players, they need to thank Caitlin Clark. Now, let me start with love and say congrats on the Players Association for getting the contract they wanted. It was a long and crazy process, but as a WNBA fan, I'm just happy and excited that there won't be a lockout. Now, let's talk about the Caitlin Clark effect and its impact on the entire WNBA. So before Caitlin got to the WNBA, the average viewership on ESPN was around 400,000. As soon as she got to the league, that number tripled to 1.2 million viewers per game. Now, even though she missed the majority of last season, that didn't stop attendance to Indiana Fever games because they led the league in total attendance. Now, as a consumer, we can argue all day about who's the best player in the league. Some might say Asia Wilson, some might say Breanna Stewart, and some might say Caitlin Clark. But when you get to the negotiation table, all of those things, it means nothing. The one thing you can hold your hat on is that ever since Caitlin Clark got to the WNBA, the entire league and brand has elevated to numbers that I thought were impossible. Do you know that 2025 was the first time in WNBA history that the league actually turned a profit? With that milestone, it triggered revenue sharing, and the WNBA players received $17 million in bonuses and licensing revenue. Listen, it's not a coincidence that all of these things are happening under Caitlin Clark's watch. We all witnessed her growth at the University of Iowa as she led an average team to the national championship game in back-to-back seasons. Her impact has been amazing to see, and I just wish the WNBA players would acknowledge it more. It's no secret that a lot of WNBA players resent Caitlin Clark. They have a hard time giving flowers to a straight white girl from Iowa, and if she were black and or gay, the players will be singing her praises all day, every day. It's an uncomfortable conversation, I get it, but it's real, and I can't sugarcoat it even if I try. Now, I also have to give credit to the NBA for the new CBA. Remember, the NBA owns 60% of the WNBA. Now, when the NBA negotiated its massive $76 billion media rights deal with Disney, NBC, and Amazon, they bundled the WNBA rights in with it. So, being tied to the NBA provided a floor that the WNBA never had before. The NBA basically used its leverage to force networks to take the WNBA and its product seriously. So, yes, the NBA provided the infrastructure while Caitlin Clark provided the valuation. At this point, the deal is done, the players got their money, and we will have WNBA basketball in 2026. There will be no lockout, and the WNBA free agency period is going to be something that we've never seen before. So many great players are going to find themselves on other teams chasing that new money. We also have the WNBA draft, which is always an exciting time for the league. But like I said, these players need to be thankful of Caitlin Clark and the NBA because without them, none of this would have been possible. Now, with that being said, like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.